Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining. Now we're switching to another format. This year we're trying to experiment with different formats of talks and sessions. Thanks a lot to Tomas from NoBricks Games for joining us. And yeah, the idea was just to talk about Human Fall Flat. I called it a decade, but we can't say that it's a decade from the game's kind of inception. Can you remind how it started? Because I think you had a talk when we still had the login conference. I think it was in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. But I think back then it was like already like 2 years after the game's initial release. So how did it start?
Well, it actually started in summer 2015. I was doing several prototypes because we got engaged with Intel. They were developing RealSense device, which is basically like Xbox Kinect, but on laptop with very tiny field of view. And you would use your hands to do gestures or anything, and then it goes out of view, and it was quite difficult to work. But among the pitched concepts was active ragdoll, which you could control his arms with your arms. And then I wanted to walk, but the only remaining control was head, so it was like going like that. So it was a little bit awkward, and to develop it, I created an alternative scheme with controller because I cannot sit by PC for a whole day with my arms in the air. And I told Intel this is the case, and they say, no, this is all good. Let's go with that. We started planning marketing and development budgets and everything, and then they came back in the end of the summer and said our global user research has found out that a human cannot stand with his arms raised for extended periods of time comfortably. And we are ditching the project and switching RealSense, which initially one of the markets was gaming. We are moving away from there into Internet of Things and other stuff. And I said, thank you, because I felt that it's something better with regular controls and everything. So yeah, this was summer of 2015, I went with prototype into a couple of events, demonstrated to get confirmation that I'm on the right path. And finally, the game was released November 1st, 2015. It was a conference here where we launched it in little booth. And it was launched on itch, with just 4 levels as a prototype, basically, but it was also to test market reception, see how people would buy it. Then they started inviting into Twitch streams, watching small YouTubers, and it was perfect tool to understand what I'm building, actually. So, yeah, it is decade.
Nice. But also before that, I think we met even a bit earlier at one of these like early Microsoft events. And you had some other games before. Can you tell a bit about them?
Yeah, all my life I've been doing little gaming prototypes or bigger gaming prototypes, but actually with Microsoft and Nokia, they had this up-campus program where they provided some funding to release games on Windows Phone.
So I was actually a big fan of Windows Phone.
Yeah, me too. So I've built a game to herd some sheep through mazes, basically. And I already had that because I was kind of interested to see how to develop something for mobile. But then we applied to up-campus funding, and it was successful. So then my brother joined me to also do ports to other platforms. And we went to up-campus in Finland, which was really nice accelerator type of thing. Met interesting people, heard a lot of new things. And that game was released on Windows phones, and it was quite successful there. Now I can't remember, we had about 800,000 downloads. At one moment it was paid app, we sold 2,000 copies, so on phone which no one has, and well, there were people they loved the phone, but actually marketplace there was like no one buys, or on Windows 8 or on Windows Phone you have those stores, but nobody spends anything. So this project, including up-campus funding, it was a success, I'd say, because user reviews were great, but it just didn't provide enough funding to launch from there into something bigger. Then we did another project, which was for Windows 8, no longer Windows Phone, but Windows 8 desktop. It was No Brakes Rally. And this was with a couple of friends with whom we ran department of creating custom software solutions. And we were passionate about racing. We had 2 cars participating in different rally events and everything. And the idea of that game was that you use your mouse to steer. It's top-down on Bing Maps, because we were friends with Microsoft, of course. And your wheels will point to the pointer of a mouse. So it's not left-right, but it's more setting, I want the car to steer that direction, but not exactly the car steer, just the wheels. So basically, if you go a bit too fast or anything, the car will flip, and you can counter steer with mouse. And surprisingly, it felt very similar to what you do in race driving. You are not thinking, okay, I will turn a little bit left or right. You actually plan the exit of a turn, pointing there with your wheels, more or less, and catching the car on the way and so on. So it was fun. We had more than 200,000 players playing that game. The problem, no monetization, because on Windows 8 Store, no one wants to spend money. Then we got yet another project with Up Campus. It was a 3D racing game. We released it, but then we just took it off the marketplace because there was no money there, and the program was closing already, so no one could push us to keep maintaining it, and well, it was a flop. Yeah, and then I had to close No Brakes Games because there was no money in it, and the projects didn't seem promising enough to actually get some money in there. But before coming back to the rest of the team who were doing business software, I decided to give a few more tries with those prototypes for Intel, and one of them happened to be Human Fall Flat, so yeah.
So how did it look in the very beginning, the Human Fall Flat prototype?
It was the same character, actually, that you see in the game, but the environment was just green, not gray box, green box level, where you would try to solve puzzles. For example, it was taking a plank, placing it over the gap, and then carrying the box to put it on pressure plate. But when my kid was playtesting that, he would do anything but solve puzzles, so he found a way to parkour around, and I was watching, okay, this looks fun. And yeah, initial idea was to do with full narrative, something like Portal-ish type of game with just a puzzle with tight bounds, so you go and solve puzzles properly. But then I saw, okay, it's about messing with stuff, and it changed direction.
How fast did you see that it might be successful on itch.io? What was like the first indications, maybe?
Well, the beginning was not very fast, but then I went to GDC in the spring of 2016, and was constantly monitoring each I/O stats. But because of the flight and jet lag, I missed for a couple of days, and then I come back and the number there is like 99 because it's over and plus of notification, and I thought, what's happening? And then I found out that I think Dragas at that time or someone started streaming that, and people started buying. So then in a month or two, I sold several thousand of copies. And the main comments on the videos were like, unfortunately, it's not in store, it's impossible to buy it, because on PC, if you are not on Steam, you don't exist. And then I was, oh, those big streamers are streaming and people cannot buy it, and I lost all the revenue and opportunity window and everything. I was really upset and started thinking about Steam launch, but in GDC I met Curve, and with them we prepared the launch plan for summer 2016. Before that I added 2 more levels to the game on itch.io, and then we decided, okay, let's add 2 more levels and launch on Steam and then do ports and everything else. So yeah, it took from November to March, I think GDC was, so like 5 months until it got noticed and started generating revenue. Yeah, it was already good, it was sustainable.
But you kept itch.io for some time, or you closed it once after you released on Steam?
I think we closed it quite soon after Steam release, yeah.
And when your goal to GDC was specifically to find a publisher, or you just went to explore? Or it was just a coincidence that...
I met this publisher in Pocket Gamer Connects London. So I met initially not publisher, I met journalist whom I showed video of my prototype, and he was so excited. He said, you need to meet Simon. And who is Simon? Well, he is with Curve. And he called Simon, you have to be here. And he took a drive through all the London. I don't know, it took him 2 hours or something. We met, we chatted. I missed my flight. I had to stay at a hotel and book another flight. It was very nice and warm. And then I wasn't sure whether self-publish or go with publisher, but was checking how things go at Pocket Gamer Connects. And then I went to GDC also to look what other developers are doing. And yeah, I met with Curve again, met several other publishers. But then I knew, okay, if I go with publisher, I will go with Curve, because Simon is great. He is now with Yogcast Games. And then I couldn't really decide because there were pros and cons. I was one-man team, so taking care of everything was difficult, and doing itch.io, starting with marketing, maintaining all YouTubes and everything, it distracts. But it was also, I wanted to learn everything. So when I started the game, I did game prototypes, and now I was on to do proper games, so I started learning modeling and other things. And marketing was one of headaches. It's fun, but not that fun for developer type of person. But still, I couldn't decide, so I tossed a coin. Yeah, in Airbnb in San Francisco, I tossed a coin, and I had a photo. I still could dig it up. And then it was, yeah, go with publisher. And I showed that photo to Curve a couple of years ago, and then they were like, okay. It's so cool that it ended up this way.
Oh, meant to be. And then, so once you launched on Steam, how quick was then like this growth of players and numbers?
Initial launch was a bit disappointing in terms that on itch I sold a couple of thousand copies, and first week on Steam it was 20,000 or something like that. So it was good, but I expected it to be a little bit better. Of course, I didn't expect anything what we had a bit later on. But yeah, and also I was reading a lot of articles about the trends of sales and everything, and basically it is game launches and then it slowly goes away. And I thought, okay, now we are at 20K copies after first week, so maybe over a long time it will be like 100K, which is still good.
And so then it grew slowly, or there was some points which like really pushed the popularity of the game?
It did not grow initially, but it started growing when it exploded when multiplayer was added. And then again, I can't remember, but again, I was not at PC watching, but then I suddenly see, okay, the numbers are through the roof, and what happened? And actually, multiplayer reception was very good. And then even later, Chinese streamer who is PUBG player, like top streamer, he just wanted to take a break and play something goofy. And he found that game, and this was the actual explosion of the game.
But the game was already available in Chinese market at the time?
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
Steam. So no other ways, like official ways, were not possible back then, but still doesn't prevent it to be our biggest territory.
And how did you came to the decision that, well, first of all, you will continue updating the game, doing DLCs and everything, but more important, to do it for free for users?
Yeah, publisher said, let's do DLC pack. We'll get some extra money. And I said, no, let's just put levels for free. And they were like, are you stupid? But for me, the game was doing good enough. And my goal never was to earn all the money on the earth. It's just to do something great. And already the game was selling good enough when we had that discussion, so I didn't need extra income. So for me, it was natural to sort of support the community who liked the game, and I just kept adding levels. And now publishers see how this ended up, and they are really happy, because that would fragment the player base, because now if it's multiplayer game, somebody has DLC, somebody doesn't have that. There are some implications, but for me it was just enough is enough.
And I guess they were helpful to attract new players.
Yes.
After new DLCs.
Yeah, and we keep pushing those new levels still after a decade. And each new level brings back old players, and also they bring some friends. The streaming starts again, so each beat with new level attracts new players.
Was it, I don't know how to phrase it, but do you have like your favorite DLC, or from the player's perspective, maybe you can share which was like most bumpy? Or they were more or less the same reception?
No, definitely not the same reception, but there are quite many good levels. There are few a little bit not as strong, but they are a bit different from the core game. And I think it's also refreshing for players. And also I would not come up with that type of levels, because I have different mindset when creating things. So I think it ended up really well. Because at one point we were working with, we were subcontracting company to do levels, because I had terrible burnout. I couldn't focus for half a year or so. And we had someone else to do those levels. And they started sending game design documents. And I was looking at them, okay, what's that? well, I knew because I was teaching game design for a couple of years in university, but like for this game, you don't build it this way. So they were very linear or fetch type of quests. Actually, the dark level was done by them. And I think it's the worst level in the game because it's you have to go to 3 different parts and fetch some items. So, yeah. And then I had game design documents for 2 more levels, but I said, no, this is not working. So then, yeah, we started to do workshop competitions and picking the best levels from there and giving them extra love because some content creators do really good quality job. Others, they are not professional game developers and don't know about lots of things like performance. They have brilliant ideas, but execution sometimes needs some love. So we decided, okay, let's do it so that we take care to bring the quality bar up, but to preserve the original ideas of creators. And this is how the game continues.
That's also, I think, quite unique about the game, or special that I think you started to involve players quite early in the development cycle.
Yeah, so players were, for the game itself, each prototype was the beginning where players actually got involved and they helped shaping the game. So the first Twitch I remember, there were like 7 viewers. And me and my family sat on sofa. We took some drinks and were watching and also chatting. Yeah, I already saw what could be improved. So player involvement was crucial because the design philosophy was that you can do anything in the game. But if a player sees something and he thinks I can do that, but it doesn't work in the game, then for me it was a failure. And the solution was either making it work, because it would sometimes player opened a new perspective on the level for myself, and I thought, okay, if they think this up, it's actually a brilliant idea. Let's help them. Let's make it work. Or if something suggests that it should work, but there is no good, nice way to make it work, then you just move it so that it's not inviting to try something that will not work.
I'm thinking related also to this workshop and players levels created by players. How often do you mix your own creations and players' creations?
Actually, we are using player content for ages already.
So even like a majority of content is
now
players.
Everything is coming from players or those players who became partners. We have several players who created nice levels, and we do several with them. So it's not through competition, but just saying, okay, please come up with something, and then they come up. We work together to build it to a full level.
Cool. Are there still any platforms left to release the game on?
Switch 2 should be launching.
Because the game is everywhere, I think, on all possible all possible platforms.
I don't know. My Subaru still doesn't have it on the touch screen. Yeah, and it's actually having lots of platforms, and this is where the coin toss made it happen. Because if I would be alone, I would release on PC. Maybe that would be it. Of course, main consoles maybe, but like they are working with lots of partners. And a couple of years ago, they showed the slides of all the distribution network. There were 30 companies involved who helped bring a game to players worldwide. There are thousands of people involved in distribution. So yeah, it looks like digital game. You throw it into Steam and that's it. But Steam still is the biggest revenue stream. but everything together combined is much, much stronger.
And can you share? Well, can you share anything about the second part, progress? At what stage it is, and in general, how did you start to create a second part while also working on the first game?
We are not working so much on first game ourselves because players create the puzzles, and actually the execution of those. Sneaky Box, which is also Lithuanian studio, they help to polish them and deliver. So we are relying on third parties because otherwise I would be answering your question, how do we manage it? So to prevent that question altogether, we work with third parties. We only sort of review, validate. And then we are working on other games, including the continuation of Human Fall Flat World. Which phase we are in, I don't know. I don't know when it will be ready, what it will be, and which phase we are in. We are doing our best to make the best game that we imagine we can make. And I think we are on the right track there, but not really focusing about when we are releasing or exactly what we are releasing.
And now everything is happening in Lithuania, if I understand correctly, or there are still people around somewhere else?
Headquarters is in Lithuania, and majority of people work here, but we have some contractors scattered around the globe, and we used to have a studio in Tenerife, which was closed beginning of this year, but a business entity is still there, sort of payroll company to pay salaries to Spanish residents. So there are still some people in that company, but there is no office, so they work as part of this team now.
Okay, let me see about time. Let's open the floor for questions if we'll have.
Hello. So earlier on, you also mentioned that you started out with just prototyping a lot of games, and then you mentioned some other projects as well. And it seemed to me that these other projects and Human Fall Flat were all very physics-driven games. Is that something that's always been something that interests you, or did you also do a lot of prototypes on other types of games where physics weren't as important or prevalent?
Yeah, all of my games are physics-driven or some algorithm-driven. So, for example, the Pocket Sheep prototype, the mobile game, it was about flocking behavior, steering them. For me, it was interesting how behaviors work. So, all my games start as technical prototypes, but the majority of them are actually more physics-oriented because I'm not an animator, no artist, so what I can create is do physics stuff and see where it's interesting, captivating, and go from there. So yeah, the racing game is physics game, the Human Fall Flat is physics game, and the other game that we are working on, it will be inspired by All Cheap game. It's a VR game, but again, it's physics-based puzzle game. So physics allow emergent behavior. Because if you have big team like AAA, they can plan all experience, back up with animations, with all the script branching, things happening, and so on. I was always doing games alone, and for me to dwell there, it just takes too much resources. And physics creates something that a player will write the game for you. So you create a tool, systems that make sense. So for player, they are easy to comprehend because if it's physics-based, we all know how, if you drop thing, how it will behave. So there is no breaking of immersion there. And yeah, it just helps with emergent things. And That's why I love physics games.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have more?
Yeah, so I wonder what makes a game actually successful? Like, how do you know your prototype is gonna go somewhere? Like, there are some boring games that were successful, like say Euro Truck Simulator, but like, how do you know what makes a game successful?
You never know your game will be successful. I didn't know that it will be this successful. Well, I saw people, including from industry, how they watched videos of my prototype, and their reaction was pointing that I'm on the right way. But of course, they expected, as I told, initial launch numbers, they were not expecting that. They were expecting much bigger. I was expecting a little bit bigger, but for me that was okay, as I'm a single-person company back then. But you never know, and now we are building sequel, and I don't know, will it be successful? Most probably it will not reach even fraction of the first game success, but I'm doing it not for success, but to create experience that I want to create, something that was not done before. So usually if even before games development, I was in software development, and it was era of startups and everything, and everyone is so obsessed about success, sharing success stories, all icons around and so on, investors, big money, you have to scale worldwide and so on. And you cannot plan for success, because all success stories, in Lithuanian language, it's really nice because luck and success is the same word. So if we say success story in Lithuanian, it also means luck story. So all of those stories are actually luck stories, creating something that somehow resonated with the audience, releasing it at the right time, at the right territory, and so on. So whoever tells you they know key to success, don't take it for real. Of course, to do success, there is a lot of hard work. So all those people worked really hard, believed in what they do, but you never know that it will be success. So the best what you can do is not plan for success, but plan to enjoy your journey there. So then you will succeed as yourself. And if you are doing something honestly, there are chances that audience will like it too, and then you will have success as well.
If I recall correctly, you also mentioned you gave it to your son for playtesting to get his experience on the game, and if he finds it fun. So maybe the key is just like creating prototypes, vertical slices that you just give to other people for testing, and you see how they experience the game, whether they find it fun, whether they find stuff to do, or whether they're completely bored and hate it.
Yeah, this is fundamental to have player feedback as early as possible. It is essential for any type of game or non-gaming product, because if you are building something just for yourself, you are missing a lot of opportunities, because as I told, it pivoted the game totally from puzzler on rails into this crazy mayhem that we have today. And then watching how players play already quite open puzzles for inspiration for even more ways. Sorry.
Okay. Couple of more shorter questions, although one is quite serious. Did you have disagreements or legal disputes with players due to releasing user-made content?
Nope. Nothing. We didn't release any. No one submitted or won the competition with Mario-inspired or Zelda-inspired games. If you don't go into that territory, there is no legal dispute.
But yeah, more fun. I guess question to finalize the talk is: do you play games yourself?
Yes, I do. I wish I had a bit more time to play, but yeah, I do. I especially like playing games with my kids. I have before mentioned son who is now 22 and studies, so when we have a vacation in summer or holidays, we play something. Now what we did, VR shooter game Into the Radius 2.
Oh.
It was really fun experience. I also have girls, 13 and 15 years, and with them we played, recently played Peak, which actually people in my company, we played, we have Fridays gaming sessions in company, and I took it with girls and it was fun. So yeah, I do play. I like racing games. Very, very looking forward to Assetto Corsa Rally. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Tomas. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And yeah, find the game in the show floor, in the booth. And yeah, we'll wait for news about the next decade.
Thank you.